Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Bleacher Takes. We're live again for our second episode. We're so thankful you guys are here joining us, whether you're joining us on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching from. We appreciate it. We're going to get into some NBA talk, some NFL mock draft season. We're going to get into all of it tonight. We're going to have some fun. Boys, Josh, Nate, how are we doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm excited for tonight. We got a lot to talk about, and it's going to be an exciting night. Nate, how you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. Just came off of a nice fresh dub on the softball field, boys. So I'm feeling really good. Sprite, sponsor me.
Whoa, now we can't be throwing out free sponsors now. Come on now. But, yeah, we're glad y'all are here. Glad the boys are doing good. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to start out with some NBA talk. NBA's hot in the streets right now. We got a lot of series ending, a lot of series about to end. We got some that look like they might never end. We got some crazy stuff going on in the NBA world. But we're going to start out with Nate's Nets advancing to the second. Oh, I read that wrong. I'm sorry. The Celtics swept the Brooklyn Nets. You can see the disdain in Nate Dugal's face. Nate, what happened, bro?
The Celtics are a better team. Honestly, that's all I can say. Outcoached, outplayed.
True.
And I heard somebody say it best. I don't remember who it was, but if basketball is not your second love outside of family, then there's an issue. And for Kyrie, do we know if basketball is his second love outside of family? I don't know. Dude's always got something going on, doing something. I don't know.
Can I interject for a second? I think when you bring up that conversation, you might as well throw Ben Simmons in it as well.
Yeah.
Is his second love basketball?
I don't know, though. I feel like it was too late to, insert him into the game. I know everybody's up in arms that he should have played Game 4 when they were, broadcasting it, but when you're down 3-0, it's I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to judge Ben Simmons yet until next year, basically, is all I'm saying.
Okay. I just think
feel like
that
that's fair.
It is fair, but I do think that the two biggest head cases in the NBA play on the Brooklyn Nets. And I think that that's something that you kind of have to coach around. You can't coach for that because they're not really going to listen. And I think that if anybody's going to be in that position, it's got to be anybody but Steve Nash.
It's got to be KD's team. It has to be KD's team.
Player coach?
Kyrie's got to know, I don't care what you do, but it's got to be KD's team. And I don't know what moves they're going to do in the offseason. Hopefully they can get some defense pieces or some guys that will just play hard.
And they'll have Joe Harris back next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of injuries.
You guys will still be really solid.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to panic.
No, but there is some things that do need to be done, and I don't think Steve Nash is the right fit.
Yeah, I don't think Steve Nash will be there.
We'll see with that. But I do want to talk about Boston for a little bit. I think Boston is a fantastic team, built from the ground up. 4 of their starters are Danny Ainge draft picks. The only one that's not, Al Horford, I believe. So the 4, Williams, Brown, Smart, Tatum, are Danny Ainge draft picks. They built this team from the ground up, drafted well, and are playing fantastic. One of the best defensive teams in the league, one of the best offensive teams in the league. I think that they're great, and I think that they are a threat, not just in the East, but to the whole league. That we've talked about us for a couple of years, but we have arrived. What do you guys think?
I think you're absolutely right. Like when you say that they have arrived, at the beginning, like I said last podcast, at the beginning of the year, everybody's like, oh, they're not able to play together, blah, 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 and all that. And now they're just proving everybody wrong. They're showing up when they need to show up and playing well in the playoffs. And it shows within that series right there.
And I think part of it too was the sweep. They wanted to make a statement. They're like, we're not even going to lose a game to Brooklyn. Brooklyn was the second championship favorite besides the Lakers. We didn't even make the playoffs, which that's another conversation for another day. But they were like, you know what? We are undersold, and people think that we are overrated. And what they do? Go out and swept the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, Westbrook, he removed everything Lakers off his Instagram. Is what?
They should remove him off their Instagram. Wow. Any video of that man, they need to take off.
I know Josh is a big Westbrook fan, and I'm not gonna say much because I like Westbrook too. I just never liked the fit with LeBron. I know that not all 3 of them were healthy with day-to-day Davis on there, but West Tim would call him street clothes.
Street clothes Davis.
But
yes, sir.
Best odds though I saw to cap this off, best odds were Celtics and Warriors for finals. I saw.
Wow.
I mean,
That's what they're saying.
Warriors
right
are nasty, especially if Devin Booker, which we'll get to that. But yeah, Devin Booker makes the Suns way less of a threat. The second series we got up is Dallas is up 3-2 over the Jazz. Anything surprising in this to you guys, or is going kind of how you guys think?
It's kind of going how I thought. I mean, there's two things that are going to play and have played a huge role in this series already. With Luka coming back, that in itself is a momentum boost for the Dallas Mavericks. And then you got Donovan Mitchell getting injured with a hamstring injury for the Jazz, so that's going to also play a part. But I think Dallas has this series taken over, and I think they're gonna finish it off.
Did you guys see the game too? On when was it, last night?
Yeah.
Luka's first home playoff game. I know everybody was like, "Oh, no, Luka, he's going to ruin the flow." He comes out there, they lose a close game, and then he goes out there and drops 33 points, 13. I mean, dude was catching buckets out there, man. Like, he was basically saying, like, yeah, what did y'all say about ruining the flow? Have you not forgotten that this is my team? This is my team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I sent a tweet on our Twitter account. Follow us at Bleacher Takes on Twitter.
Hey.
A little promo there.
There
But
you go.
follow us on Twitter because I sent out a tweet yesterday, and I said I think that, and I think we all kind of can agree to this, Jalen Brunson is becoming the running mate Luka's been looking for. Luka Doncic has had Porzingis, and he's had some other dudes that they were like, okay, these guys might fit well together, and nobody's really fit well with them. They had Jalen Brunson. He's been on the team for a couple of years, but they've kind of been running him as Luka's backup. Whenever Luka needs a breather, run Jalen Brunson out there. I think they're starting to figure out those two play really well together. What do you guys think?
Yeah, almost 30 points a game. Like, Luka, I know he's played, 2 games now, averaging 31 and a half. Brunson right at 28 and a half. I mean, I love me some Spencer Dinwiddie too. I think dude can get a bucket, finding his flow. But, I mean, I love the Mavs. I think that they have some great pieces. You got shooters as in Kleber, Bertans. I mean, they got some pieces, and I think that they're a tough team, and I think it showed it yesterday, like that massive win that they had.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's really all we can say about it, and I'm going to go on record again. I think once the series is over and once the playoffs are over, Donovan Mitchell is going to say, I'm out. I want traded. But that's a discussion for another time. I think
it's either him or Rudy. I think was going to get traded.
Mitchell's getting traded to the New York Knicks. All right, moving on.
Hot take. You guys got Dallas though winning, right? Got Dallas winning that series.
Indeed. Yeah, in six. Donovan Mitchell was supposed to play, but I think it's over.
They'll play the winner of the Suns or Pellies too.
Correct. Our third series, Philly is up 3-2 over Toronto, but could have been having this conversation, a couple days ago, and Philly was up 3-0. Thoughts? What's going on?
I think it all comes down to James Harden. They brought him into Philly for one reason and one reason only, and that's to win a championship, and he's not showing up.
37% shooting.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he's got to pick it up in order for them to win. You can't. I mean, you've seen how it has been when it's been all the pressure on Joel Embiid's shoulders. With playing with Ben Simmons, it's going to end the same way if James Harden don't pick it up.
Sure. I think you're not wrong there. I think Embiid or Maxey have to go off to win the games. Game 1, they won. Tyrese Maxey went off. Everybody talked about that. The next 2 games, Embiid played extremely well, played like MVP Embiid. Then games 4 and 5, Harden did his thing, dropping 15, 5 turnovers, and 30% shooting. And to overcome that, Embiid had 20 points, and Maxey didn't have very many either. Nobody went off, and they lost. And the same thing happened, games 4 and 5, same things happened. And so if they can limit Embiid and Maxey, then I think that Toronto can really beat them.
Why isn't Tobias Harris getting more opportunities? I know he's out there a lot. He's averaging the same amount of minutes, but as far as shot attempts and stuff, I want Tobias Harris to be out there looking to score. I love me some Tobias Harris, and I think
I agree, but it also
very underrated. And I want to see
Harden
him.
has to facilitate the ball better.
Yeah.
He's got to get the ball to the guys. He's
My
supposed to
biggest
be that
takeover?
engine.
Yeah. And my biggest take on this is, like, let's not forget Toronto is a number 5 team, like right under Philly. Like, I know the first 2 games, even the first 3 games, everybody's like, yeah, Toronto don't even deserve to be here. And they probably were a little upset by that. And like, they do deserve a spot in the playoffs. Like, they are a good squad. They got some dogs over there.
Right. But I mean, if Joel Embiid really thinks he's the MVP, he needs to take this over. He needs to pull it through and be done.
I got Philly though.
But I
got
too.
Philly winning.
Yep. Hawks and Heat. That series is over, and it felt like it didn't really even begin. I mean, I know that Hawks took a game, but Ice Trey really lived up to his nickname, huh, boys?
I was definitely wrong on this series. If y'all remember me saying it was going to be a Game 7 Hawks victory.
I thought that you were crazy for that, and I was right. So poor Ice Trey went ice cold. Ice cold.
Yeah.
This could either this could either hurt him or help him. You know, I mean, he could either take some lessons from this, and I think next year he's going to bounce back. Honestly, we'll find out. I mean,
I think he's just got played by a team that's super aggressive and came at his throat, and made him play, the way that he's not used to playing.
Yeah, and I mean the Heat, like you said last time, are a bunch of dogs. I mean they're one of the best defensive teams in the league, and then you have somebody in Trae Young who, I mean, physically he's not the biggest player on the court, and so therefore, when they're playing physical with them, it's going to get to him a little bit, and obviously that showed up.
And I always forget that the Heat, Victor Oladipo,
waiting in the wings.
I always forget that man's still in the league. Like, I don't even. Oh man. And he can still score though.
What he dropped, 23, 25, something like that?
He's not what he was on the Pacers, but
but he doesn't need to be on that team.
I forget about him. It just cracks me up. I see him score, and I'm like,
and even Butler and Lowry didn't play in the closeout game.
Yeah.
Still won. So
and then you had Victor Oladipo take over. Like that's what he's there for.
They have so many guys who can do that though on a night-to-night basis. Like we were talking about in Toronto, it's Maxey or Embiid, and Maxey you can't count on that. Like that's not that guy's game. So basically, Embiid has to go off. In Miami, you got Tyler Hero, you have Jimmy Butler, Victor Oladipo, Kyle Lowry. Like those all guys can drop 40 at any time.
Yeah.
Like they're dogs.
Lowry sat out last game, which I think Butler did too, and they still won.
Yeah, I said that. But
yeah, you did.
moving on. I think that's all we really need to talk about. The Heat. They're fantastic and ready for the next round for sure. Need to heal up and play who they play. Grizzlies and Timberwolves. Josh, Game 5. Did that go the way you thought it was?
No, it did not. I was upset with that, but hey, I mean, if there's a team that could overcome that type of loss right there, I think it's the Timberwolves.
What a game, though.
It was a good game, But
Ant-Man with that clutch 3 in the corner to tie it up at 1-0. Man,
the guy has no fear.
No. Dude has he fits that team well, that's for sure.
Right. When I think the personalities of him and Patrick Beverley have really pushed Karl Anthony Towns to be a more aggressive and just. I always thought Karl Anthony Towns had all the talent in the world, but he's soft.
Just soft, yes.
Yep,
I agree.
He's not that anymore. He's playing very well. But I think John Morant said, you know what, boys? I'm going to go off. He almost dropped a triple-double and, shut up some of the critics. So I think it's a great series. I think it's the best series that's still going.
Oh, I agree, yep.
Grizz going to pull it out, though, man. Grizz are so good.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's going 7.
I think it's going 7, too. Hey.
Right. Yeah.
What about the Pelicans and Suns? What do y'all think's going down there? Booker has a chance to play Game 6. It just came out earlier today.
If he plays, I think it's over with. Yeah.
I think it's over with anyway. Yeah. I mean, the Pelicans had a good ride. They show they got some young talent, but you still got the point god over there in Chris Paul. So
even if they lose Game 6, the Suns aren't losing the Game 7 at home with Chris Paul healthy. They're not losing that game. So I think the Suns are going to win regardless. But that is a good series to see. I mean, Mikal Bridges is going off and says, you know what? I'm overlooked here. You guys talk about Devin Booker, you talk about Chris Paul. He said, you know what? This is a three-headed monster. I'm
See,
the
I don't
third.
think
Mikel Bridges is good. He's a very good two-way player. He's a very good defensive player.
Very efficient, 31 points on 12 of 17 shooting, 4 for 4 from 3.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been overlooked though. You know what I just I
I mean,
I
everybody
think that
says the other guys,
his
but
I
Not
mean
that
yeah,
he's like
and he's
not
got
that
a
he's
smaller.
yeah, but I mean, you don't, when you talk about the Suns, you're talking about Devin Booker and Chris Paul. Like
Exactly. He's just a smaller, he don't have a big role on that team. Like you're not gonna look at that team and be like, oh man, they got Mikal Bridges. You're gonna say, oh man, they got Devin Booker and
right,
Chris
that's
Paul.
what I'm saying. But Mikal
But
Bridges is like, listen, you should be talking about me because I can clamp up your guy, and I'm going to go drop 30 on the other end.
I
So
mean,
he's
yeah,
very,
but I mean,
very underrated
that's
defensive player for sure.
yeah, that's just
Right.
his role, I guess. Yeah.
right.
I love watching this fight out of the Pelicans though, like Brandon Ingram.
Oh yeah,
And CJ McCollum's always been a dog. He can
yeah,
hit
and they're
buckets,
they're
too,
doing what
but I
they
love
can. They're
seeing
obviously the inferior team,
Oh yeah,
but they're
I
doing
love
what they
seeing them
can.
fight. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Bucks and Bulls. Nate, I heard you were watching that game. How's that going, bud?
Well, it is currently a minute and a half left, 116-95. Bulls got a little garbage buckets there at the end, but obviously the superior team is showing itself in
Right.
the Milwaukee Bucks.
healthy,
Giannis is
too,
doing
yeah.
Giannis things, and I'm looking at Chris Middleton right now in street clothes. So be interesting to see when he's returning.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to face a hot Boston team who is looking
Wow.
Bucks in Boston.
That's gonna be a series.
That's going to be a great series. I think the Heat, honestly, like let's say Philly wins, I'm saying Heat's probably going to walk all over Philly or Toronto, but I just don't have a
Right.
lot of faith in Philly. And
Celtics and Bucks is going to be a real big series, man. They're not going to be able to defend Giannis the way they did Durant. Giannis is 20 times stronger than that guy.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how they
yeah, but
defend them.
their team defense is so good though.
It is. Yes, the
And
rotations
that's
are
what
so
it takes.
good.
That's what it
But, I
takes to
mean-
guard Giannis.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, you can clamp him up as much as you can try, but the dude's got like an 8-foot wingspan.
Yeah, he's going to get his own. You're just going to have to. But it'll be curious. I don't know when Middleton's coming back. I haven't heard anything. It's a hammy issue, right?
Yep, and that's you just never know with those. He could be out the rest of the playoffs for all we know. So, I think not much to talk about that. The Bulls, if they could have been healthy, they could have stretched this out to a 6-7 game series, I think. But I think the Bucks are still just too good, and the Bulls are good, but they haven't played enough together because they've been unhealthy. And tonight they don't have Levine or Caruso. How do you expect them to win
Levine,
that
he
game?
got COVID.
Right. Still dealing with COVID. And
I was listening.
what'd you say?
Go ahead. I was just going to say something funny. Go ahead.
Last series we got, the Warriors are up 3-1 over the Nuggets. They're playing tonight after the podcast, after this Bucks-Bulls game. And
Starting in 10 minutes.
It is, yeah. Good math pod here. Warriors starting their death lineup. What it seems like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green. Anybody stopping that lineup?
I mean, that's tough. I don't think you really can without, size, and Nuggets don't really have a lot of size, I don't think. So
Yeah, they got Jokic, but it's not like he's a super. MVP of the league probably, but probably one of the least athletic players.
Yeah.
On the court at all times.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
heard
Go ahead, Nate.
Well, I was going to say, I heard a hot take that Demarcus Cousins is the only player on the Nuggets with that is in the positive and the plus minus, and he only averages 10 points. And they're saying to cut Gordon some of his minutes and throw Demarcus out there, which I thought was interesting.
Gordon doesn't really do a whole lot against a team like Golden State. I mean,
He definitely ain't doing a lot right now, that's for sure.
right, and it's just not you have to play positionally, and Jokic is a center by size, but he doesn't play the center position really.
Who shoots
Plays
better
kind of
at
point
three?
forward.
Who shoots better from three between the two with Gordon and Cousins? Do you guys know?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I wouldn't want either one shooting more than 2 a game though. So.
I think Cousins is 2 for 3 on the whole series. So he's made 2 and only missed 1. So he has a 66%. It's inflated because of the amount. But
Sure.
And then Gordon right now is shooting 27% from threes, and I don't think he's taking a lot either. But I've heard people say that he is struggling from the 3, and even the Joker that coming last couple weeks of the season coming into this first series, his 3 ball has kind of suffered.
Kind of what we've said since the first podcast. It's a different series, and probably not even a series because the Nuggets wouldn't be playing in this game if they had Jamal Murray. So
Yeah, and Michael Porter.
well, Mike Porter too. Yeah,
You know,
I mean those two are insane. But injuries, you got to be able to overcome them. And basically,
Everybody
every
has
team
injuries,
we've talked
yeah.
about, every team we've talked about that's lost has lost a lot of it because of injuries. So it is what it is. You got to kind of overcome that at some point. But it's hard to lose your starting point guard.
Yeah.
But you guys got anything else in the NBA? I think that about covers it.
Who are you guys thinking? What's a early prediction, finals prediction?
As of right now, Boston's the hottest team in the league.
Yeah, I'm saying Boston, Golden State finals right there.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
That's what
I'll
I'm
go against you just for podcast sakes, because right now I do think Boston. The Bucks could give him a run for the money, but I do think Boston, especially with Middleton's hammy injury, because he could come back, play, and get re-injured. A hammy is not something you really, truly recover from without tons of rest. And in the playoffs, there's no rest. But in the West, I'm going to take the Suns because I'm just going to believe Devin Booker's going to come back and be healthy. And when he's healthy, they're the best team.
Mhm.
But when he's not, Golden State's going to walk all over him. So I'm going to say he's healthy. I'm going to take the Suns Celtics.
What I want to see is Celtics Mavs, but I know the Mavs. I mean, if Devin Booker doesn't play, they could beat the Suns, and the Mavs would be Mavs and the Warriors, and probably Celtics and Heat. But I'm thinking it's going to be Warriors and Celtics as well. But I would love to see the Mavs just come out of nowhere. I don't know. I just loved watching that team.
The Luka show.
Hey, I'm all about it.
You imagine
his Kool-Aid.
the NBA Finals ratings in Europe if that happened? Luka Doncic in the
wow.
NBA Finals?
Yeah, that'd
Where's
be
he from?
nuts.
Slovenia.
Yeah, something like that. But you're European League MVP at what 17 or something crazy?
Yeah.
Like you don't think the NBA is like, hey, Warriors will give you an extra $500K if you lose to them. You know what I'm saying?
He's a
Like,
beast.
Come on now, the ratings go sky high, but also the America loves the Warriors, so
Yeah, we'll know more by Sunday.
we will. Come back on Sunday. We'll be talking about the NBA playoffs.
Hey, there we go.
Well, now we're going to move on to some important business here. It's our first annual NFL mock draft. The NFL draft is tomorrow. I'm wearing the LT jersey to represent. And the best Giants player ever, if you're wondering who LT is. Nate's looking at my screen like he doesn't know who he is because he's a little uncultured.
No, I know who LT is, boy.
Oh, okay.
Lawrence Taylor, right?
Oh, yeah. But we're going to move on to the NFL mock draft. How we're going to do this is Josh is going to pick first. He's going to have the Jacksonville Jaguars, #1 overall pick. Tim, is going to pick second. I have Detroit. And Nate's going to pick third with Houston. So, and we're just going to go like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
And we don't know who we're picking now, so
we
gonna
don't.
have to kind of.
This is a live mock draft. We don't have this wrote down anywhere. I have who I kind of want at my picks, and so do these two, but we don't know who each other has. So if Josh takes the guy I want at #1, I'm gonna have to improvise at #2.
You're gonna have to play a little GM, Tim. We know you want to be an NFL GM so bad. So
yes, sir. All right, well, Josh. Without further ado, let's get us started here. Wearing the Buffalo Bills shirt, represent.
Yes, sir. All right, boys. With the first pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars are taking defensive end Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan.
Aiden Hutchinson. Probably, I can't just say probably.
Probably. This dude's the best prospect in that
the best
draft.
prospect.
Yeah.
I mean, you have an argument for Kyle Hamilton, but he plays a way less important position, safety. I mean, so I don't think you're wrong there at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad pick. I mean,
no, I mean it's
Hutchinson. I mean, dude's a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as he terrorized Ohio State last year, crying emoji in the comments for me, would you? He is obviously the best defensive end for sure in the draft, and defensive end is premium position. Without further ado, then I'm going to go #2. #2 overall, the Detroit Lions are going to be selecting Mr. Trayvon Walker, Georgia, defensive end.
Not a big surprise there,
Probably,
Tim.
probably some of the highest ceiling in the draft. Looking at him right now, obviously Aiden Hutchinson is the safest pick for sure, has the highest floor. And what I mean by that is at his worst, is still going to be a very good player. But at his ceiling, could also be a great player. But guys like Trayvon Walker, he has a aura about him and just stats that fly off the table. Had one of the fastest 40s ever for a D end. Crazy broad jump, crazy vertical, and he's just so elusive. And he can just move past, not just a power guy, an elusive swim move past you, speed rusher. And that guy can make a difference for Detroit.
He's a freak. That's basically all you can say. Dude
Yeah.
is a freak of nature.
A freak of nature, for sure.
And
There's
Tim, I just
some
want
that's
to ask
born
you,
with it and some that's not.
yeah. Tim, I want to ask you this real quick. Which between Walker and Hutchinson, which one do you think is going to be better? Like have a better career?
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Walker. I think Walker has obviously a bigger boom or bust potential. I think there's a chance that he could end up being a 2-year starter in the NFL and be gone. I also think that there's a chance that he could be the NFL sack leader in 3 years. Aiden Hutchinson, I think you can pencil in for probably 10 sacks a year, but not a guy that I think is ever going to get 20. People compare him to J.J. Watt, but J.J. Watt filled all the boxes.
Yeah.
Hutchinson has a couple that he's got short arms, and you don't question the guy's motor. He has the will, he has the desire, but is that going to match up against all pro left and right tackles? I guess we'll see.
All right, boys. I'm throwing out a little curveball. I think we said we're allowed maybe one trade a person, so I'm throwing mine out quick, and I'm throwing mine out right now. And I am saying that it's Houston's pick right now, but I'm saying that the Seahawks are going to trade their number 9 and maybe next year's second rounder to Houston for that number 3 pick to move up. What do you guys say? Fair deal?
I think
Sure.
it's fair.
Let's go for it.
We following it? All right.
Yep.
So Seahawks are trading number 9.
Can I make a prediction here? I think we're going quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. We're going quarterback.
Sure.
Which
Yeah,
means
trade
I had number 9 as well, so it doesn't mess you guys up too much. I had number 9 going QB, and I am going with Malik Willis. The Seahawks are going with the dual threat Malik Willis from Liberty. Is he ready to start right now? Probably not as much as Pickett, in my opinion, but I think that he does have the highest upside out of anybody in the draft. When it's all said and done, as long as he can stay healthy. And I think Malik Willis is their guy. Seattle, I have them selecting Malik Willis as the number 3 pick.
I don't think
You
I
almost-
can argue with you there.
It's kind of like a Russell Wilson 2.0 almost.
And I think that's kind of what they're trying to recreate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good pick. Good pick there.
All
Josh,
right.
Thank you.
I got
As long as I didn't get booze now.
I got number 4 New York Jets, and I got them taking Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. Jets have, had an issue at corner, and I think Gardner being at 6'2", I think he could be the guy to kind of solidify, that number 1 cornerback position.
Yeah. I mean, he's been connected to them all along. They obviously, have to cover some big name guys in that division now. Tyreek Hill just came over to the division. Stephon Diggs has been there. Some guys that they need to cover. And I think you're perfectly in the right there, taking Sauce Gardner. I saw a thing today. They asked him when was the last time he gave up a touchdown. He said he does not remember. So
if he's on the Jets, he gonna remember real quick.
burnt toast emoji coming out here. But I think it's a great pick. They need to try to do something there, obviously, to try to get somebody who can guard somebody.
Yeah.
They ain't got nobody who can guard anybody.
Yeah. Well,
number
5.
5. We're number 5 in the draft now. Number 5,
Giants.
we have the New York Giants.
I see how we did this.
Best team in the league, if they were in a league of their own. They got sacked the 17th most last year. Not crazy, but still not great. The right tackle right now is supposed to be Matt Gano. He hasn't played in 2 years, and he was a backup before that. Their left tackle is Andrew Thomas, a first-round pick from a couple years ago, and he played fantastic last year. And I think they could definitely go there, but I'm also looking 22nd in sacks, 29th in quarterback hits, and 31st in tackles for losses last year. So basically, their defensive line did nothing. So I'm going to say they're going to go with who was thought to be the number one prospect coming into the season. We're taking Kayvon Thibodeau, number 5, Oregon, defensive end.
Interesting. Thought you were going offensive tackle there for a minute. I'm not going to lie.
Well, and I think that they do if Thibodeau's not there. I think they love Thibodeau. Thibodeau has arguably just as high of a ceiling as Trayvon Walker, if maybe not more, because the guy's got what Trayvon Walker has at speed, Thibodeau has at power.
Yep.
He's got the physical attributes that they compared him physically to Myles Garrett. They compared his power to Myles Garrett. Like he's Myles Garrett, but Myles Garrett has a high motor. He's a guy who does not stop. Kayvon Thibodeau's film showed him once he got beat off the line, he kind of stopped. So you can work on some intangible stuff, and he could be a force for years to come. And that's what I like to see on the Giants. So Kayvon Thibodeau, number 5.
All right. I can see it. Number 6, Carolina. I saw earlier this week that it was pretty much told to Darnold that there would most likely draft a quarterback. So don't be alarmed, which is a little bit more than the Packers gave Rodgers when they drafted Love. But I guess they did tell Darnold. So with that being said, I'm assuming that the Panthers are going to draft a quarterback and move on. And I think they should. I'm not just trying to guess what happens. I'm saying that they probably do need to draft somebody. And with that being said, I'm going with Kenny Pickett. Since Malik Willis is off the board, I think the Panthers are going to select Kenny Pickett. He's the most, NFL ready. I don't know if he'll start right away, but I think he'll have a shot, obviously, to start right away and be that face if they want to start quick. But I think they want a QB, and I think Pickett's their guy. So I got 2 picks and 2 QBs. Sorry, boys.
Yeah, I was going to say QB heavy here, but I think you're completely right there. I think they're definitely going quarterback. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Kenny Pickett is probably the most NFL-ready quarterback there is. And they have a roster to compete. They have a defense that is nasty. They have Christian McCaffrey coming back, hopefully healthy next year. And they got some good receivers. DJ Moore, one of the best in the league, very underrated. And they can really make a difference with a good quarterback play. So I think you're completely right there. Josh?
Yep, I got pick number 7, New York Giants. And like you said, Tim, last year that offensive line, you got Daniel Jones back there running for his life half the time. So
and Mike Glennon just falling to the ground, yes.
Yeah. With this pick, I got them taking offensive lineman in Evan Neal from Alabama. Dude's 360 and can absolutely move for an offensive lineman. So I think it's going to be a good pick for him.
I'm ready to watch mini camps with Thibodeau versus Evan Neal.
That's going to be a match.
Coming into the year.
Ike Okwanu, huh? Interesting.
Coming into the year, the number 1 overall tackle, number 1 overall defensive end, and 2 of the highest rated prospects in the entire draft going to the Giants. I'll be very happy.
Yeah, I think Evan Neal's the best offensive lineman in the draft.
I mean, yeah, he's good. I mean, and the Giants addressed both, as you both just played a little 50-50 GM, they addressed the needs that they needed, this in the draft. So,
all right, Josh, pound it.
Good job, boys. You might save their season. Number 8.
Stop laughing over there, Mr. No first round picks. They just win the Super Bowl, though.
Brooklyn getting swept.
Down bad over there. Well, number 8, it seems like I have this pick. Number 8 overall, the Atlanta Falcons. I think there's only one way they go here. They see Malik Willis get taken off the board, and they were eyeing him, I feel like. He gets took, and especially Kenny Pickett's off. They say, you know what? Marcus Mariota will do. we got to get him someone to throw to. No Calvin Ridley next year. He got suspended for betting on some games. Weird guy. Zacchaeus is their number one wide receiver on their depth chart right now, according to ESPN, who had 406 receiving yards last year. Their best receiver had 400 receiving yards. He played all year, played 17 games. Right here, Atlanta Falcons, number 8 overall, taking Drake London out of USC. Big body receiver, big body guy who can do it all. Mike Evans type receiver, throw the ball up, let him catch it, watch him work. Drake London, number 8.
Not your boy Wilson, huh?
I just think London kind of fits better, especially when Ridley comes back. You have the two type of dynamic receivers that are different. And places like Kansas City showed that two different receivers really works very well. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, who I think is a wide receiver playing tight end. Two type of targets. So I think that's where they're going. Number 9.
Number 9 and the Houston Texans now, because if y'all remember, the Seattle traded. So I know if you're looking at the list, it is swapped. So if you are looking electronically and can't swap those out, I apologize. But if you do have it on paper, you'll be able to cross that out. And I believe that Houston is going to look for an extremely talented player. And I think, man, this one's a tough one, but I think they're going to go with Jermaine Johnson II. He's a great edge from Florida State. Kayvon's off the board. Trayvon, all these edges are off, but this guy cannot be overlooked either. He's a top guy, exploded for 12 sacks in just one season at Florida State, and also he had some great numbers at the combine as well. So I'm going with Jermaine Johnson II to the Houston Texans at 9.
There you go, Josh.
All right, like Nate did at pick number 3, I got a little bit of a trade here. So I got the Jets trading the number 10 overall pick to the 49ers for Deebo Samuel.
Woo! Interesting.
And so the 49ers will then take over the 10th overall pick. And with that pick, I think that they're going to need a replacement for him. And with that pick, I think that they take Jameson Williams, wide receiver from Alabama.
That boy is nasty.
Interesting.
I'm
a little surprised that you took Drake London before him, though.
I try not to play bias when I do this. You guys know I'm about as unbiased of a fan as can be. And I try to look at the team. And I definitely could see Garrett Wilson going to the Falcons. But I also do think that they like the big body stuff that you can't teach. You can't teach the 6'4"
almost at Julio
frame.
Jones. Yep.
People are looking for Megatron.
Yeah.
They're looking for Megatron. And you see Drake London, you're like, we can make that work. But I have the number 11 pick, and I have the Washington Commanders now, before they change their name again. The Commanders for now. I believe that people say it could be going quarterback here, but I don't think they trade all that they do to get Carson Wentz to take a quarterback, number 11. I think that they say, you know what, let's try to get this guy some targets. Bunch of injury-prone guys at wide receiver outside of Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, one of the best receivers in the game. But he's got Curtis Samuel behind him and a bunch of unproven guys who are either injury-prone or have no history of being good.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, I'm going to take my boy, Garrett Wilson, number 11, to the Washington Commanders.
Interesting.
Any objections to that?
No, that's a good pick. I think he'll fit well there.
I want to write it down. Sorry.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
I was thinking you said Olave for some reason. But Olave's still on the board.
He still is. And some guys are really falling. The ESPN's number 2 overall prospect, Ikem Ekwonu, out of NC State, offensive tackle. He's still on the board. And the number 4 overall, Kyle Hamilton, safety, out of Notre Dame, which safety is not a premium position. So not surprising to see him falling.
Yeah. And with the 12th pick, it's hard to pass. I don't want to be biased. It's hard to pass on Kyle Hamilton just because dude is a freak of nature as well. Probably one of the most talented people in the draft. But honestly, there's a guy that I think y'all been sleeping on. And I know number 4, Jay, you picked old Saucy. But let's not forget Derek Stingley Jr. I know that there's some injury things going on with him, but dude could go super fast, way faster than the 12th pick. And if he's still there, Minnesota needs a cornerback.
No doubt.
Derek Stingley Jr. is healthy. Dude is nasty.
They've been looking for a corner to be a shutdown guy ever since Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes was it for, 2 years there? And then he became all roads are open, burnt toast Xavier Rhodes.
So I thank you all. As a Minnesota Vikings GM, I thank you for letting him fall that low.
You're welcome. He was the 11th overall prospect, and you took him at 12. So, he fell a lot.
I think that's dissing him, though. I don't think that's correct. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, reading it wrong, but I'm saying I don't think that's right.
Yeah. All right. So, Josh?
Yep. With the 13th pick, I have Houston taking Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah.
Woohoo.
I mean, this guy could be used in 2 different ways, as a pass rusher or a cover linebacker. And he's extremely athletic, and I think he's also one of the better linebackers in the draft.
Who'd you pick again?
Devin Lloyd.
I see.
What? You never heard of him, Nate?
I've heard of him. Just not who I thought you would go after. I mean,
there's some great guys on the board, but I mean, I can't argue with your linebacker pick there. But I thought they would go Kyle Hamilton there. But number 14, Baltimore, is receiving a phone call at this moment. Please hold.
Uh-oh. We're getting all our trades out there, aren't we?
We got a trade, boys. The Baltimore Ravens are sending their number 14 pick to the one and only Kansas City Chiefs for the Chiefs' number 29 pick, a 2nd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick. The Chiefs are seeing a guy on the board that's falling, and after seeing 3 wide receivers get taken, they don't want to take any chances. At number 14 overall, the Kansas City Chiefs select Chris Olave, Ohio State.
Interesting.
To be their next Tyreek Hill.
Oh.
Interesting.
Wide receivers are going fast, boys. Get them while they're hot.
Fast. And even though Philly, they probably need somebody to line up with what's the dude I'm thinking of? Devontae Smith. They probably do need somebody to line up. I mean, you can't. Kyle Hamilton is this far down. You better snatch him up. So I'm saying Kyle Hamilton is going to the Eagles. Sorry, he's just dropped. Hopefully I get snaps from my Eagles fans. But, I mean,
Crickets.
Kyle Hamilton is a stud. So, I mean, he can't pass that far down. There's no way. It's a little disrespectful in my opinion.
Sure. Josh?
All righty, with the
pick here.
Yep, with the 16th pick. You know, this one has me torn a little bit just because this team already has a wide receiver kind of like this guy, but it's still in question mark whether he's going to play with them or whatnot. So I'm going to go with Traylon Burks being drafted here from Arkansas. 6'3" wide receiver. Huge potential with this guy. I think that he could
5
be
wide receivers in the top of the draft.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good ones out there.
I didn't have him going that high up, but I mean, I think some boos are coming from the crowd on that one, but I won't say much.
Oh,
see what Jameson Williams can do with him and Michael Thomas. But at number 17, I think the Chargers were really eyeing somebody here to help with the run defense. The run defense was atrocious last year. 3rd most rush yards given up, 2nd worst points contributed by the rush defense. But they also spent some money on some defensive tackles this offseason and think that, you know what, maybe we can make do because the 2nd best overall prospect in this draft has fallen this far. We selected Rashawn Slater last year to protect our boy Justin Herbert. How about let's get him some more protection on the right side and put Ikem Ekonwu out of NC State to play right tackle.
I was wondering how far this guy would fall.
And you know what? When the Chargers saw him fall in there, they said, we have to do it. It doesn't matter who else is available. We can protect Herbert for years to come with him and Rashawn Slater.
He's versatile too. He can fit anywhere.
Exactly.
He's a very versatile player. Philadelphia, so they just grabbed my boy Hamilton. I get them again, so hopefully I make those Eagles fans nice and happy.
You can almost put it on your resume at this point. You made 2 picks.
Yeah, exactly. I should. And because of all these, and I'm telling you, they probably need somebody for Smith or to line up on Smith. But instead of lining across from Smith, I'm going on the defense side, lining across from Darius Slay, and they're going to pick Trent McDuffie from Washington. He's very smart, he's tough. I think he's going to be a great fit to boost their defense. You got Slay and McDuffie. He's got an awesome name, so that's not why I picked him, but he's still a cool guy.
Glad you know him personally.
All right. With number 19, New Orleans again. I got them taking offensive tackle here with Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa.
Ooh, it passed up Charles Cross, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this guy, he kind of like who was that guy that you just took, Tim or Nate? Whichever one you, yeah. I feel like, they're more of a similar offensive tackle, offensive lineman, and Trevor Penning can play multiple positions on the offensive line, so I think that he'll be a good fit for them.
Old Penning. Okay.
Yep. Well, I got Pittsburgh, number 20. I think there's a couple ways they could go here. They're a pretty good team that need a quarterback. They signed up Mitch, and they were hoping that their favorite guy would fall to here, and he did not. So they're not going to go quarterback. And I do think that they could go defensive line to line up on the other side of Cam Hayward, but those guys really came off the board well too. So I think they're going to look at it and say, you know what? We can't sign anybody to play quarterback if we can't protect them. So we're going to take Charles Cross out of Mississippi State to protect our quarterbacks. Quarterbacks plural, because I'm sure they will have more than one this year.
Interesting. Actually, not to got to redo my plan here because thank you for that. Because I had New England actually picking Cross. I didn't think you would go after him. I just figured, hey, more help for Mac Jones, the better, eh?
Right.
New England, the Patriots. I think according to what NFL, they needed a cornerback, a wide receiver, and a linebacker. Man, this one's tough, man. You really threw me for a loop here.
Well, I see a very good Georgia linebacker on board. Wondering if you're going to go for him.
You talking about the defensive tackle, Davis?
No, I'm talking about Kobe Dean.
Oh, man. You guys threw me for a loop here. Oh, my.
They had to pause the draft so the Patriots could think.
I had to pause the draft so the Patriots could think. I'm telling you, man. Dean?
The Kave Dean, the number 12 overall prospect. Is that who the Patriots are going to go with, Nate?
Yeah, I guess. Because I'm lost here. I'm lost. I'm sorry. Sorry, listeners. I'm just lost because I had Cross going and you just threw me for a loop. So give me Dean.
Dean. Going to play linebacker and probably going to lead the league in tackles for Bill Belichick just because. So, well, Josh, are we throwing you for any loops here? Were you planning on taking Dean at number 22?
I hope he was.
I was not, but I got the Green Bay Packers here. And, I think they need some help on the offensive side of the ball with losing Devontae Adams. So, I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson, wide receiver from Penn State.
Ooh.
Dude only had 2 drops while being targeted for 138 his senior year. And he's also been compared to Tyreek Hill. So, I mean, he's one of the best deep ball threats in the league. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers could really use somebody like that.
Yeah. As much money as they just paid Rodgers, they're obviously going to have to get some cheap, controllable talent to get around him.
Yep.
And I don't disagree with that pick there. I think, true value maybe reached a little bit, but with wide receivers the way they're going, I don't think you're in the wrong there at all. Number 23, that pick belongs to the Arizona Cardinals, who started out the season so hot and then dropped off. And I think part of that could be J.J. Watt got hurt, and they didn't have a lot of pressure coming on their defensive side. They were 18th in yards per attempt given up. But they could also look wide receiver here. I think there's a lot of different ways they could look. But I think that they say, you know what? We got J.J. Watt on one side. Why don't we throw somebody in the middle who can stop the run and kind of get after the passer as well? They're taking Jordan Davis out of Georgia, defensive tackle. Big boy who can run faster than anybody watching this, I'll guarantee it. Boy is huge. Should not be able to move the way he can. Jordan Davis, number 23 overall.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I had Dotson going to Dallas as well, so I had to revamp this again. So
here we go.
For that.
Let's,
I don't need the extra time, so don't worry, Commissioner, for giving me extra time. I'm honestly going to take an offensive lineman in Kenyon Green from Texas A&M because I think his power is explosive, and they need help to paving the way for old Elliott and that Dallas run game. So Dotson's gone. Every wide receiver out of every college looks to be gone as well. So
true.
And I really don't want to. And I feel like, you can wait probably to pick something up later. So I'm going Kenyon Green from Texas A&M.
Perfect. Josh, we got
a
little hometown pick here, a little hometown bias going on.
Yes, sir. We got the Buffalo Bills here at pick 25. And Nate, you kind of took my pick here. I had Trent McDuffie going here to Buffalo, but with that being said, I feel like the Bills need a cornerback, and the cornerback position in this league in this draft is a little bit deeper than usual. So I'm gonna go out on a little limb here, and I got Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State, going here.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I feel like I think he could come into the league and be better than the two running backs we have. I feel like he's a more all-around running back.
He's a beast.
So,
he's kind of like your two running backs combined into one.
Yep, exactly. And I would not be opposed to this pick.
And first-round pick on a running back, you get a fifth-year option on him. So you do have to take that into
and that's their literally, if they did have a void in their offense, that would be
exactly
that you could even say.
I think
honestly,
like you said, offensive and defensively, they have two holes: running back and cornerback. And like you said, cornerbacks, it's deep in this draft, so you can take somebody in second, third round and be able to develop them.
Yep.
So I don't disagree with that at all. I have the Tennessee Titans picking 26th overall. And quietly, their offensive line was one of the worst in the league. They're seventh most sacked team, 19th in passing touchdowns, 24th in passing yards because, he couldn't stay on his feet. And so I think I'm going to get Ryan Tannehill a little bit of help here. And we see somebody falling a little bit. So I'm going to take Tyler Lindenbaum out of Iowa.
Dang it.
Gosh, bro.
My God.
Dang, Lindenbaum, number 26 overall. I love upsetting these guys in my draft picks because it means that I am getting true value of my picks. And I think right now, Tim Snyder is number one in GM drafting in the Bleacher Takes league.
Easy.
But you guys can comment on that and see what you think here. But Lindenbaum going there to protect Ryan Tannehill and pave the way for old Derrick Henry.
Well, thanks for taking my pick again. At least we're all on the same page, though. So I think Lindenbaum is a beast. So from Iowa. So definitely agree with that pick. But I think the Bucs, Bucs lost both of their starting guards this offseason. Then who'd they add? Shaq, right? who'd they get from New England? Shaq Mason? Yeah, Shaq Mason from New England to help, but I think they do need a little bit of help to help the slow-footed Tom Brady and to make sure that he gets enough protection. So since Lindenbaum's gone, I'm going to go with Zion Johnson from Boston College. He's versatile, makes a lot of sense for that team, and understands the importance of keeping away the defensive pressure that can get in front of the old GOAT. So he knows what's expected of him. So I'm going with Zion and not Williamson.
All righty. With pick 28, Green Bay here, I have them selecting the defensive tackle from Houston, Logan Hall. Packers don't really need a pass rusher. They have, two people on their team that are more than capable of doing that. But they need run stoppers, and I think that he's a natural run stopper. And he has everything you can ask for in a player, in an elite player, and I think that he has. So I think that would be a good fit for Green Bay.
Interesting pick there. I did not see that coming, but yeah, it's good pick. I think Devontae Wyatt's looking at you from Georgia thinking, man, what's so bad about me? But I can't say I disagree. At 29 overall, this pick was traded, if we remember, to Baltimore so that Kansas City could trade up to get Chris Olave. Baltimore has some needs. They gave up the second most sacks. That's a kind of a misleading stat, though, because Lamar Jackson does run around a lot. So, yeah, while he can avoid them, he also runs into them a lot, which you kind of have to take and give with mobile quarterbacks. But he was the second most sacked at the quarterback's position. But they also were 22nd in defensive sacks. So sacks overall as a team was not a good area. They were really good at tackles for loss, but they just couldn't get to the quarterback of the other team. And I think that they look at this and they look at who's falling and they say, you know what? Let's go defensive line here. George Karlaftis, Purdue, getting taken to the Baltimore Ravens. I think he fits their scheme. He fits the kind of player that they're looking for. And George Karlaftis, Baltimore Raven.
I like him.
Yep.
Dude can straight up get to the quarterback for sure. So I am not surprised on that pick as well. Kansas City, they've already who'd they get? Olave? Is that what you said at 14?
Correct.
Yeah.
Was that Tim?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm their GM. Kansas City. They need defensive help, especially on the corners. But there's one guy that I think can do a little bit of both. And his name is Daxton Hill from Michigan.
Yep.
And he's a safety, but I think he's one that is so versatile that he can start on the perimeter. He can move around a nickel or safety, depending on how the formation's used for the Chiefs. So I just don't see him falling any farther. So I'm picking Daxton Hill from Michigan to go to the Chiefs. Replace one Hill with another.
Yep.
All righty. With this next pick, I got the Cincinnati Bengals at 31. And Tim, you kind of took my pick here in Linderbaum. So
love to hear that. Well, he ain't falling that far, buddy.
No, but it was worth a shot. With that being said, I'm going to go to the opposite side of the ball on the defensive side, and I'm going to have them taking Andrew Booth, corner from Clemson.
Yeah, Booth can be a shutdown corner. I think that he's probably a guy that you can say, kind of like Hutchinson was for the DNs, a guy that's got a really high floor that at worst is going to be a starting cornerback in the league. Now, is he ever going to be shut down Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander type? Maybe not, but could be.
Tre'Davious White.
I'm sorry, who?
Tre'Davious White.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're muted. But I think that Booth is a very good player, obviously, and there's some really good players here left with the last pick of the first round, number 32 overall. Obviously, at the first pick that was taken, Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions took, and they had pick number 32 as well. And I think they say, you know what, we took defense. And I think that there's a chance that they say, you know what, maybe let's go wide receiver to help out our wide receiver room. Maybe we go linebacker to make our our defense better.
Maybe we go Sam Howell.
Maybe we go quarterback, Jared Goff. But I think they see Jared Goff as, a guy who can get their guys the ball. But you can't get their guys the ball if you ain't got anybody to throw it to. So I think they're going to take a little reach here because they're also picking number 34. And they don't want this guy to fall to Jacksonville, who could be looking at wide receivers as well. And they're going to take a guy who's got off the charts athleticism, off the charts length, off the charts just overall ability to play the position. And Christian Watson out of North Dakota State, a guy who has been seen as a sleeper in the draft, who probably should be getting talked about with the top 3-4 guys in the draft. He just plays for a small-time college, and I know Josh loves small-time college guys. He's a Josh Allen fan, obviously. And I think Christian Watson makes a big impact in the league and makes the Lions, their wide receiver room, way deeper.
I can see that.
I think that that concludes our first round of this draft. And, when you look back at it, there's a lot of really good players left. The only one that's in the top 25, though, would be Devontae Wyatt from Georgia. And he's sitting there, the 20th overall best prospect, but at a position that's not really seen as a premium position in the league anymore, defensive tackle. Devontae Wyatt sitting there, and then you got David Ojabo, number 30. He tore his Achilles, right? And he was going to be probably a top 20 pick before that happened.
A little off the field issues with him too, but
right. And I think a team's willing to take a shot on him, maybe in the second round. But other than that, I think we did pretty well in this draft. I think it's pretty close to how it's probably going to go. There is some surprise picks in there, but that's what makes it so fun. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to pick who and the impact they're going to make on the team. So, boys, reactions to the draft. What'd you guys think?
I mean, like you said, I think that's pretty much how it's going to go. You in any draft, NBA, NFL, it don't matter. You're always going to have surprise picks. So I think we've had a couple of those in there, but other than that, I think you hit it right. I think this is about how it's going to go.
Yeah, and
I was just going to say,
still flustered over those picks I took, Nate.
No, you did take a lot from me, but hey, and I see some comments coming in about my Nets. Apparently, people are still focused on that. But anyway, let's deter from that. This whole Debo thing just got me because I just hear a lot of people saying that he doesn't want to do the whole running back wide receiver thing. I know it's a little off topic, but that whole thing's got me a little bit shook because everybody's saying if he doesn't want to do that and he just wants to be a wide receiver, well, he's not even probably top 20 wide receiver then. That's what makes him good is his ability to do both. But they said by wide receiving alone, which is pretty crazy.
Did he have 1,400 receiving yards this past year? Am I tripping? I'm pretty sure he had 1,400 receiving yards.
I think that, and that's been the question that people have been saying: is he a legit wide receiver? He wants the big money, but he gets the big money because he's such that two-way player. But take away, aside of that, is he worth the money as just a receiver?
Well, you look at it this way: in 2019, he had 57 catches for 800 receiving yards. 2020. He only had 33 catches for 391, averaging 11 yards per catch. And then last year, he had 1,400 yards, 77 catches, 18 yards per catch. So, last year he really went off, and now he probably wants to set the market again because that's what everybody wants to do. But the thing is, he's trying to set the market against guys like Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill who have years, plenty of years, being top 5 in receiving yards, catches, touchdowns, all that kind of stuff. And you know what? It's probably in Samuel's best interest to say, I'm a receiver running back. That's why you should pay me. So
And I mean, I agree with that. I mean, if you look at this dude started selling clothes that literally said wide back, and now he's trying to say that, get mad at people for calling him that and saying he just wants to be a wide receiver, but yet you labeled yourself as that. Like, he legit labeled himself as that. So I don't know. I just think that he's chasing the money, in my opinion. But I mean, you can't blame the guy. The guy's also a good wide receiver. So,
and a wide receiver like that, a wide receiver is a position that doesn't last very long in the league. It's not like a quarterback who's going to get paid for 15 years.
Yeah,
a wide receiver probably only gets one big payday, and so he's got one shot to get this right. Probably now he could play a long time. There's some guys who play a long time, but being a wide back, which is what he is, I would say that he won't play very long. So he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, hey, I don't want to be a running back because I want to be longer in this league, but I also want to get paid like a top wide receiver, and he hasn't produced both for 1 year.
Yeah.
So
before we go for the memes and maybe some future video content, I want to give 2 surprising picks. One by you, Tim. One by you, Josh. That I think was kind of that surprised me, and then my favorite pick personally. That I made. So maybe you guys can look at the list and you can do that as well. If you don't want to, it's fine. But I thought, Tim, you taking Drake London at 8 was a big surprise, picking him first. I understand what you meant as far as teaming up with I forgot his name, Ridley.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense, but that one really did surprise me. And then Tim also getting Burks for New Orleans at 16. I thought that was a little bit of a stretch too. I actually had Burks going, I believe, second round.
That was Josh.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, that was Josh. That was one that surprised me. I had Burks going second round. I'm just not big on Burks. So that's the one that surprised me. And then
I will say about Burks, I think he's got second round talent. I think that there is some things that I'm worried about with him that I'm not with a lot of the other receivers. But supply and demand. People see wide receivers flying off the board like this, they're going to reach.
They're going to grab.
So,
I'd say, man, I really want Derek Stingley Jr. to be healthy. And I think I know he's 11 prospect, but I mean, people are saying he could go as quick as number 3 off the board. There are mocks out there that have him that high.
Who was that?
Dropping him, Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback from LSU, going to the Vikings. It's a toss-up between that one and Hamilton dropping to 15 is my favorite because I think Hamilton dropping that low is pretty shocking. But those are
I could see that though.
Those are my picks. I mean, yeah. Tim or Josh, I don't know whoever wants to go, and you guys don't have to share either. I was just curious of what you guys thought was surprising to you.
I mean, I didn't really have any, but I just want to touch on that like Traylon Burks thing. Like the reason I chose him there is because the Saints don't know what's going on with Michael Thomas. Is he going to play there or whatnot? You could almost say that they're trying to draft a Michael Thomas 2.0 and Traylon Burks. I'm not saying he's going to ever be that good, but the physical attributes of him mimic a wide receiver like Michael Thomas. So
and his
but you pass on Dotson though. Like Dotson is Michael Thomas. Like Dotson said, they say Dotson has the best hands in the draft as wide receiver. Like as far as catching, so you pass on him. But I don't know.
There's some ways to look at it too. When you look at tape, you see Traylon Burks exploding off the screen. That guy's tape is insane. I watched a couple Arkansas games this year, and I was very my eyes were glued to that guy. I couldn't watch anybody else because when they needed a big play, they got the ball to him. Whether it was in separation downfield, whether it was in space. And I think they even did a couple out of the backfield stuff with him. But his combine results really hurt him. His 40 time was in the 4.5s, I believe, a high 4.5. And people were a little scared about that, a little scared about his vertical jump and a couple of those other things, I believe. I don't think his combine went very well. And I think
we got some Arkansas people in the chat, too, talking a lot of smack about Burks. And, I'm just not believing it.
Well, yeah, of course they are. But
sorry, Arkansas boys. Just not seeing it.
I think my favorite pick and the one that was most surprising to me, and obviously it's a pick that I made because I'm the best GM in the world, but the Chargers at number 17 were able to get the number 2 overall prospect. We had wide receivers going off the board. We had corners and some crazy stuff going on when all of a sudden the Chargers say, hey, we're going to just put 2 studs on the end, and you aren't touching our guy. You aren't touching Justin Herbert. You're not going to get to him. We're going to have Ekonwu play right tackle. Slade has already shown that he can be all-pro potential on the left side. You're not touching our guy. We're protecting him. He's going to get the ball out to Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and all those boys, and watch him work. And honestly, Austin Eckler, more outside runs because Ekonwu on that right side, pulling for him, nasty.
Chargers making a lot of moves this year.
Yep.
They are. And honestly, they stack so much up on their defense. And like I talked about with them, they had a really bad rushing defense, but they also added some defensive tackles, and they added some difference makers all over that field. Khalil Mack, and they paid the most money, J.C. Jackson, to cover some of the best receivers in the league. And I just think that they say, you know what, let's make our offense even better, and let's go win the whole thing this year.
Yeah, with a pick like that, I mean, that could very much be a Super Bowl winning pick right there.
Right. And they can slide him all around. Like you guys said, he can play guard too. So if they need him at guard, they can put him wherever they want. He's so versatile.
We'll see how wrong we are or right.
Tomorrow night is the first round of the NFL draft. We thank you guys for stopping in with us. We had a lot of fun doing this. We did some research. We didn't just take this lightly. I mean, this is stuff that we want to give some content to you guys, watch something a little different, covering all the sports. A lot of podcasts don't. They do one specific one, and that's great. But we want to talk with all of you. We want to connect with all of you. So please comment. Please share. Please like the page. Please turn on notifications so you know when we go live. You know when we tweet. We got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We got it all. Find us on Apple Podcasts if you want to share it with people. We're all over, and we're trying to bring you as much content as we can. We're trying to stay as up to date as we can, talk about topics that are going on right now. And that's what we did with this draft, and I'm so excited to see what tomorrow's going to bring. I'm a draft day nerd, and I love to watch it. I love to see what the GMs are thinking. I think like a GM, I feel like. These two are way better athletes than I will ever be. They'll tell you that. But I think of it from the intellectual side. And it's fun to do, and we're excited that you guys are here. We're excited you guys came and joined us tonight. And don't forget, every Sunday, every Wednesday, we're going to go live. We're posting stuff on social media every day. We're posting stuff on Twitter, tweeting multiple times a day. If you want to interact with us on all of our socials. We really appreciate all the support, and we hope to see you on Sunday. We're going to talk more NBA, a little bit of baseball, and maybe some NFL reactions. But we thank you guys for joining us. Josh, Nate, it was good talking with you boys.
Yes,
appreciate y'all getting on and doing this and providing the content for everybody.
Man, I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what these teams do. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll catch you on Sunday night about 8 p.m. We'll be sending out. Watch the socials, turn on the noties, and see us there next time. Peace out.